Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate everybody taking the time this early afternoon. But yeah, just really exciting start to the season for us. Something we've been building for for the past 18 months, and it's really been fun to see everything come to fruition here in the early stages. With an undefeated start and only conceding one goal, and we haven't trailed yet this season. And probably the most exciting for our guys, I guess we're living in this age of social media. My guys were telling me this morning, we had our walkthrough, the Pac-12 conference Instagram finally followed San Diego State men's soccer Instagram. So I guess our guys realize we've made it big finally now. So they were all excited. But yeah, just real
Recording
thrilled.
in progress.
Just really thrilled at things where we're at right now and where we can go. Obviously, two really tough matches this week, as every game in the Pac-12 is, and we'll continue on with our work and continue on how we've been playing.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up for questions, and we'll start with John.
Coach, how are you? Congratulations on the great start. What has allowed you to be so good to start the year, specifically defensively, like you mentioned, having conceded just one time all year? Who do you give a majority of the credit to for the accomplishment early on?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's been an entire team, effort. We really believe one of our main goals going into every single game is to have a clean sheet or a shutout, and our guys as a group, have really embraced that. Our style of play and our system, is a extremely high pressing system. I kind of equate it to full court press in basketball. So we need our attacking players do a lot of defensive work for us. Really, they're our first line of defense, and obviously our central midfielders, and then certainly our back line is kind of the last group. That has done a really, really good job with box defending and clearances and things of that nature. And then, we've got a fantastic goalkeeper, transfer actually from Washington, who's made some really big saves for us in some really key moments to keep the clean sheets. But honestly, it's been the whole group, and it's just, I think it's been, that style of playing, how they do it, but just the mentality of we're not going to get scored on. We're going to continue to stay in these games, by not conceding. I think that attitude and that mentality and that belief has really carried us this far.
What are the qualities? You mentioned your goalkeeper, Jacob Castro. What are the qualities that he possesses that make him such a good goalkeeper for you?
Yeah, I got to be careful because hopefully Brady Hoke isn't in the waiting room or anything, because Jacob was actually a pretty highly recruited wide receiver out of high school in the Washington area. He kind of had a chance to play at Washington State for football as a wide receiver. So he's big. He's about 6'5", as athletic as can be, just very, very good. Any ball in the air is, it's like having another center back there that can use his hands, is what I kind of say to him. And then just, an excellent shot stopper. Also very good with his feet, so it allows us to kind of construct our attacks from the back, which is really important to our offensive organization. And I think just the final piece, he is an amazing human being. We couldn't be more thrilled, that he joined us from Washington, and, what he's brought to the culture from playing in 2 Elite Eights with Washington, brought that mentality to us, and just an outstanding human being. And what he's brought in terms of just being a good teammate, helping younger guys out, helping, the other goalkeepers out as well that are with him in training every day.
And then lastly, Coach, just what are your hopes from your soccer team this weekend? A couple of Pac-12 matches at home, Cal and Stanford, obviously beginning tonight. What do you hope to see?
Yeah, for me, it's about getting 6 points at home. We want to continue on with our work, in the process that we've created so far, and those are the goals. To get 6 points, where we're playing with a lot of belief and a lot of confidence right now, and we really have tried to make. We want to make the sports deck our fortress. It's a very difficult place to come and play. It suits our style of play very, very well. And we know it's a little bit odd. You're playing on top of a parking structure. It's not normal for opponents. It's not something you do very often. So we know that, and we like to get out to a fast start against teams before they really settle into the facility. And but like I said, our standard, I think, where we want to go, what our goals and our ambitions are, it starts with 2 wins this weekend, without a doubt.
I said last question. I want to ask you one just about the trajectory of the program, actually,
Yep.
because you're going to have a chance, I believe, to play at the new Aztec Stadium at least a portion of your home schedule.
Yep.
And what impact will that have on your program and recruiting? And just what impact does it have in general, San Diego State's relationship with the Pac-12 and men's soccer?
Yeah, it's been amazing, and I'm so grateful to JD Wicker, Derek Rice, and everybody else that's been involved in the stadium project of keeping us, not only us, women's soccer, lacrosse are all going to get games there, and I think that's part of the reason it makes San Diego State such a special place. As good as our football and basketball has been, and I think I saw a graphic, we're number 3 in the country in combined football and basketball wins over the last 10 years. The Olympic sports are treated as equals, and I think that goes down to JD Wicker and down through the department. So, to be honest, it's already had a massive impact on recruiting. We pump out those pictures as fast as Aztec social media can put them up. So it's been huge for us. We've got I think our recruiting class will probably be somewhere in the top 10 nationally next year. And that stadium, we've gotten to know the guards pretty well at the stadium. We bribe them with gear to let us in and take our recruits driving around there. So it's massive. And then go. It's just we. Coach Friesen and I, who's the women's head coach, we went on a little tour with Derek Rice about a month ago, and the details, the experience that the stadium is going to have I'll go for anything, to be honest. I'll go for a monster truck rally, Aztec football. It's just going to be such a cool experience that I think everybody in the San Diego, will be happy to take part in.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck tonight.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. We'll go to the San Diego Union Tribune representative.
Hi, Coach Mark Ziegler from the Union Tribune here. A few questions from me as well. You mentioned that the sports deck plays into your style. Could you elaborate a little bit about why?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a narrower field just because of the space that we have up there, and I think our style is an extremely high pressing system that we have less ground to cover, quite honestly, than some fields that we have to play on the road. So from that perspective, and it just plays different. It bounces different. There's reverberations with cars that are parking there. So there's things you're not used to, and obviously it's a huge benefit to us. It's also our training field, so we get used to the bumps and the dimensions and just being up there a lot more than other people. So it's been perfect, and I kind of knew that when I was going through the interview process. I had played here before as an assistant coach with other programs, and I had known how difficult it was to play here, and I knew that high pressing style would cause teams a lot of problems, that just aren't used to the confines.
Is the high pressing style something that is really conducive to the college sub rule? You see professional teams do it, but they put it on, they take it off, put it on, take it off, depending on what the weather is, how the teams are playing, and you seem to just go full out 90 minutes. How much does the sub rule help you?
It's the biggest help, and to be honest, I wish we would change the sub rule because I think it hurts the other side of the game, and some of the attacking. You don't get the benefit of, and I always compare it to like a boxing match. Every pass we make, we're kind of tiring out the other team. It's a little punch that maybe in round 5 or 6, we eventually knock them out with a goal. But, with the subbing rule on that side of it, we don't get as much of the benefit. So, yeah, I utilize the subbing rule pretty heavily, and to keep our guys, fresh and, having the willingness and the hunger, and the legs to do it because, in our system, we wear GPS, for training and games. Our top guys are running, anywhere from 11 to 13 miles when we go to overtime games, with like 2,500 meters of high speed distance, which is roughly 2 miles of sprinting. So there's a heavy physical component to what we want to do, but it's in our DNA deep down. We're a blue collar, hardworking team. And we create so much attack from it. Really that's kind of our motto is it's pressing to score goals, not to just win possession of the ball back. So it really initiates our attack, which all the attacking players, it's my way to convince them to play a little bit more defense for sure.
And the other piece of playing a style like that is you need a deep bench, obviously, if you're going to put subs in. You had a little bit of turnover last year with the transfer portal. I think everybody does these days. How are you able to so quickly replenish that roster and have it deep enough to play like you want to play?
Yeah, I mean, we did a little bit of work in the transfer portal ourselves. Obviously, I mentioned Jacob Castro from Washington. We also have a central midfielder who really hasn't come off the field since he got here, and Henry Smith Hasty from SMU been a fantastic addition to our central midfield. And I think last year was really good for us because it allowed me to get the foundation of how I wanted to do things, and also realize the things that I didn't do well, things that I needed to work on and be better tactically. And I think last year taught me a lot about that, of like what you're saying. I think we take the press off a little bit more than we did, certainly in the spring. And I think that certainly helped us to play in low block and mid block a little bit more, as much as I despise it. And I think, I think just we brought in, a heavy dose of international players. We brought in 4 international players, and I think their experience all over Europe, has just added a different dimension. And it's just really the guys that stay behind have really bought into the culture and really bought into, the philosophy of how we want to do things. And really, I say it all the time now. I'm like, they're all my guys now. Everyone that's here, they may want to play a little bit more at times, but at the end of the day, they're all my guys now. That everybody that's here and how we're moving forward.
And last thing for me, where in your coaching tree or background does the preference for high press come from?
It's been interesting. A lot of places I played a lot more in mid block and low block. So I think it was more of like, these are the things I want to do. And as an assistant, right, you always have these crazy ideas and you don't realize how hard, moving over 6 inches really is. And I'm learning that process every single day, with a million mistakes. That's for sure. But yeah, I think it was more influence. I'm a big proponent of, the Red Bull philosophy, kind of, Red Bull Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg, obviously, having Jesse Marsch, who's a big believer in pressing. He's at Leipzig right now. He was at Salzburg. So those have been really, really big influences on me. And, in how we set things up. Leeds United is another one. Liverpool, and it's been interesting to watch Liverpool's kind of change a little bit. They're pressing a lot less than they used to too. But I would say those have kind of been my main influences from the professional game.
And Leipzig's result yesterday didn't change your mind?
I'll tell you what, Jesse's got no fear when he rolls the team out there. And, sometimes that's going to happen. Southampton was a team, another team we study that has this high pressing. Their coach is from the Red Bull tree. And, they've lost 9-0, 1 year to Leicester, 1 year to City. And sometimes you take it on the chin with exposing yourself. And I think that's what I learned a lot last spring of, the better ways to expose ourselves in the press, but also how we can be pretty good in mid block and even into low block. And I think we've done a really good job of marrying, all those ideas this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, we'll go to Marco.
Hey, Coach. Marco Perez from the Daily Aztec. First, this is, as a head coach for you and for a lot of the boys, this is your first time, defending a number in front of your name, being nationally ranked. How are you guys preparing for that challenge, not just for this weekend's game, but moving forward throughout the season?
Yeah, I told the guys I was really, really proud of them. I think it's a big accomplishment, and but I told them at the end of the day, it's a lot tougher being the hunted rather than the hunter. That's for sure. So, there's going to be added juice to every team we play, and that's a privilege. It's a privilege to play, with that pressure, and you've earned that privilege. But yeah, there takes a lot more, responsibility and, a lot more focus and attention to the things that, we need to do. So, and at the end of the day, I think, our guys have a really good understanding of this is not, this is just kind of the first stepping stone and one of our goals along the path of where we want to go. I'll be totally honest with you. My goal here is to go to a Final Four. And a lot of people, maybe think I'm crazy, but I think I've had a pretty good track record of getting there as an assistant coach. So, I know the process to get there, and I think we have all the things in place, to get there from the new stadium, the Pac-12 conference, an administration that supports, all my crazy ideas and the things that I want to do, and, a community that loves soccer, and a fertile recruiting ground. So, for me, I take a little bit from Ryan Donovan in men's golf. His big motto is "Why not us?" And that's been kind of my philosophy since I've been here. That's been my goal. We have little benchmarks along the way because I think it's easier that way to stay on the path. But ultimately, our goal is to make it to a Final Four in the near future.
And then, last year you won a collective against Cal and Stanford, a collective 0-4. Is there a part of you and a part of the boys who were on the team last year who just really wants to get that leg up, especially against Cal, had that unlucky red card at home last year? Are you guys looking forward to playing Cal again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody in the Pac-12 is, we tell our guys it's 10 cup finals, at the end of the day, and we have to approach each one, that way with that mentality. And each one is going to be a little bit different, and it's challenging because it's a Thursday, Sunday quite often. But, I think with where we want to go, we just take it one game at a time, one team at a time. And at the end of the day, I think win, lose, or draw, as long as our process is good. And I'll give you guys a great book recommendation if you haven't read it. It's Chop Wood, Carry Water. Really, really cool book, and it's just about going about your process the right way. And I think if we continue to go about our process the right way, we're going to have something great at the end of the season. I'll tell you a story. Sunday, we beat Cal State Bakersfield. It's probably our worst performance of the year, and I had to light into the guys because I felt we took shortcuts on our process. And at the end of the day, yeah, the outcome was great, but if we don't continue on with our process properly every single day, we're not going to always get, the outcomes that we want. So for me, it's just continuing on in that process and the things that make us great. And, after that, we'll worry about the results as they come.
Last question for me. How do you plan on utilizing your back five to help you in the pressing? Because obviously you have your wing backs flying forward. Is that by design, or is that something that you plan on continue to do?
Yeah, I won't give you too many tactical ideas in case Cal or Stanford are listening to this. But yeah, that's the great thing about the system, is that it can morph into so many different shapes, and it's really hard to deal with, not only with the ball, but without the ball. And we have very, very versatile players, that can fit into the system, and they're very, very coachable in terms of how we just make slight tweaks. I think that's been the big thing. We're going to just make a slight tweak for each team. We might leave the wingbacks at home a little bit more to make that back five, like you said. We might send them on a little bit more to make more of that back three, depending on our opponent, depending on moments of the game, things of that nature. But yeah, I just think it's the versatility of the system, the versatility of the players that we have, to be able to do a lot of different things in that shape.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marco. We'll go to Lee.
Coach Lee Hamilton from KUSI. Flipping back to the stadium, the new stadium, are you going to play just select games there? Do you know any number of games that you'll play in the new stadium?
Yeah, we're still in talks with with the administration, with the stadium organizers on that. We actually met a couple of weeks ago, just trying to figure out what it would look like, what we would want to do, opponents that would make sense, whether it's Pac-12, whether it's maybe USD as a crosstown derby, things of that nature, whether it's bringing in a couple of ACC teams, things of that nature. So yeah, negotiations ongoing, I will say. And I'll defer to JD Wicker on that one.
As a follow-up, use the word juice. This stadium could really provide juice to soccer in San Diego County. Have you given any thoughts to soccer doubleheader, men's and women's one event, soccer night in San Diego doubleheader event, or bringing in the CIFs and the high schools for the marquee spotlight events? Is that part of this whole creative process for your juice?
Yeah, everything's on the table, quite honestly, and I love that lead in. It's almost like you set me up. We actually have a great doubleheader this weekend on Sunday. We'll be playing Stanford at 3 o'clock, and the women's program will be playing UCLA at 6 o'clock. So we're trying to market that as a doubleheader. So appreciate that, Lee. That's a great marketing ploy on your part. I know our Aztec department will be happy with that one. So we're real excited about that. We have a really close relationship with the women's program. Mike Friesen's been a great mentor to me, especially during COVID, and his experience and bouncing ideas and situations off of him. It's been awesome to have his ear. So we do a lot of things together as programs, share a lot of things up there on the sports deck. So those are definitely in the works. Just lining up the schedules can sometimes be difficult and opponents, but yeah, definitely in the works. And then the stadium's going to be open to all sorts of different things. Football, basketball, monster truck rally, concerts, you name it. I think everything under the sun will be there. And like I said, I think just the experience, everyone's got to get out there. I mean, it's so cool. Just all the little things that they're putting into the stadium. There's Easter eggs in there. It's just going to be a special place to be.
And a final question for me. What is the difference crossing the line between being just a Division I program that has moderate success to becoming Hartwick, Oneonta, the other national powers? What gets you across that line? Is it international recruiting? Is it the transfer portal now? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything, quite honestly. I think, for us, it's, being in the Pac-12 and, having that opportunity to compete against those teams, 10 times a year is massive for our recruiting. I think so many American players, there's such a push to turn professional at a young age. We're having 15, 16-year-olds signing MLS contracts and signing in Europe and things of that nature. I think that is a way for us to sell it as, we're I would say the best Division I teams are on par with USL Championship, level teams, and that's where most of our, young pros in the U.S. are ending up. A lot of them, maybe a few of them are getting MLS minutes or going on to Europe, but a lot of them are playing in that USL Championship. So, that's where I would kind of compare us, to. So I think, the conference, the stadium has been massive, and our ability to, go over there and show people the progress, show people the pictures, and just that excitement, I think has been massive. Yeah, international recruiting, I've always had, a lot of success wherever I've been, in different places around the world. And those internationals, they bring a different level of maturity. With the extra COVID year, we've got 4 freshmen that are 21 years old, and that immediately injected a lot of leadership, experience. They played at a high level in European, in their European clubs as well. So, and a lot of them have been cut and told they're not good enough. So they know, what rejection is like. They know how to deal with, having to grind every day and work, really for your job every day. So, and then honestly, I just think it's San Diego State. I think, the success, again, I go back to the success of our football. I got Brian Dutcher sitting right here in front of me about to jump on. The success men's basketball has had, like, people know who San Diego State is. So in the recruiting process, that becomes really easy for me. I don't have to explain what a San Diego State is. Sometimes I have to remind them we play in the Pac-12, but after that, it's pretty easy. And I just think, our location, the academics are growing like crazy here. We have a wonderful array of business, majors and programs, our guys and, ladies can major in. So I just think it's really the total package. And that's why I think, honestly, my goal, and I know I'm not going to steal Dutcher's thunder, but we want to go to Final Fours. That's what we want to do here. And I think we're in a position and a place to do it. And it's just going to continue to take our work, continue to take all of us trusting our processes. And I think the sky is the future for this athletic department.
Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I got to say, I used to I remember I grew up in Orange County, so I used to, when you were Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. So I don't know if that was Extra Sports 690. I remember listening to you. I had my yellow Walkman and I used to listen to you on that. So I will.
Well, you have to check my website now, leehacksawhamilton.com.
Good plug.
Sorry for the commercial, but you invited it.
You and I, we're trading marketing plugs here.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Lee, we'll go to Derek.
That was vintage hacksaw right there. Way to slide that one in, Lee. Well done, sir. Kind of along those same lines, when you are recruiting against literally the entire world to try and keep this, and we know how talented San Diego players are. You got CJ Fodry scoring goals at the USL Championship level as a teenager right now.
Yep.
Do you approach this working with a club like San Diego Loyal? Do you try and make like a partnership with them? How do you try and keep some of those players in town to then come and play at San Diego State?
Yeah, so I can't comment on any specific one recruit, but I would that name you mentioned, I would check his Instagram, and you might find out something very interesting about San Diego State on there. But I think for us, for me it's. I have about 10 clubs, kind of in the U.S. that I really, really trust. I trust their player development. I trust their character development because, for me, there's a lot of talented players, all over the U.S. But for me, it's about who they are as people, first and foremost. And, I know if I get that right and I get the guys that, are blue collar, have an amazing work ethic, want to be in a culture where, they support each other and they fight for each other, then we're going to attract talent here just because of the Pac-12, the stadium, all of our other athletic departments, the location. So I think those are the things for me is just knowing the places that I'm, getting these people from. And obviously I have a lot of contacts all over Europe, all over the world, for the same things. So, it's a big pool, but, I do a lot to narrow that pool and really just trust, these partners I've created, throughout my career.
And then this might be a little more broad than you're comfortable talking about, but with the soccer program having success in the Pac-12 and all the talk in college football and basketball about schools jumping around and changing conferences, can you have any kind of maybe a tip of the spear kind of leading the way to get maybe San Diego State moving in that direction, maybe show the Pac-12 conference, we play everything pretty good down here.
Absolutely. No, and we laughed the other day because women's lacrosse has a big vote to get into the Pac-12. So we were laughing. We had a head coaches meeting yesterday, and we're laughing. All right, we'll just do it. We'll sneak in one sport at a time, and before we know it, we'll have everybody in there. So that's kind of our plan. A little bit of a Trojan horse, one at a time here. But yeah, and we own that pressure. Like I'm fully aware of that, and our success also, I think, helps the department with those conversations and, where we want to go. And, I know we've had a lot of discussions on conference realignment and, things are, potential ideas, things of that nature. I think we've got a wonderfully supportive, president and administration on the school side, and those people are really important in terms of all these conference realignments, as we all know. So I think it's just, it's really a team effort between everyone. But yeah, we're fully aware that, we have to carry that flag and that banner. And, I tell our guys that's a special pressure, to do that here for sure. And they've embraced it. They know what they know the stakes, and they want to go for it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Make sure you check out all our stuff on NBC7.com/sportswrap.
Oh man, I'm going to have to wear like a sweater, like a NASCAR sweater, get some of my own sponsors here.